Welcome back, everybody, to The Truth About Addiction. Today's episode is from a live event, Heart Conscious Creators, that I throw monthly in LA. And what's so cool about this conversation is that it's with a woman who was my camp counselor when I was 6 years old. Back on the East Coast, she now lives in LA. We have reconnected based on our spirituality, and she came to speak at my event. So it was truly a reunion in real time and such a cool conversation. So let me read you her bio, and I'm excited for you to hear this. Pam Yudko is a nationally recognized transformational life and executive coach. Pam has spent over 2 decades helping individuals break free from limiting beliefs, get unstuck, and live with greater clarity, purpose, and authenticity. Her coaching is known for being direct, compassionate, and deeply effective, empowering clients to take bold action in both their personal and professional lives. So, you guys know me now. Based on what I do, it makes total sense that we would find each other again because our work in the world is quite similar. Enjoy the conversation, send it to a friend. If my podcast means something to you, if it's helpful, please leave a review, leave a comment. I love hearing from you. Tell me what you want to hear more about, ask me questions, book a discovery call. It's totally free. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye.
But perfection's just a game of make-believe. Hey, gotta break the pattern, find a new reprieve. Breaking the...
Pam, when we met, was my counselor when I was a little girl in sleepaway camp, and we literally have only recently reconnected, and now she is speaking at my event. So I have no idea how this is going to go, and I'm so fucking excited. I love you. Okay. So good. Okay. Hi, Pam.
Hi, Sam.
Can you tell me what
Camp Delaware could see us now.
I mean, also it was called Camp Delaware, but it was in Connecticut. So let's just start with that. One of the very special things about that place. It also shut down.
Yeah, it did. But there are still reunions that you should go to.
I should go to them. Do you go to them?
I did. My last one was in 2016, but I did. Like, it was a divide. It's like everyone gets back together and acts like they're 14. So I'm not quite sure if it's fun. I think that's why it is. It is. I love
So like you thought like an emotional regression, but maybe worth it.
Yes.
Okay.
In a different, we could do it differently. You'll do an event.
Oh my God, I hold a Heart Conscious Creators event in my camp. Going on tour to Camp Delaware.
Well, I just said to you that I read Sam's book. I was at the last event last month, and I grabbed her book and did not put it down for the weekend. And I just kept saying to her, I'm so proud of you. When you know someone since they're 6 years old and you know this version of them, and there was always such a deep connection with us. For me, I grew up in Queens, neighboring to Brooklyn, and Jessica and Sam were the two little girls that weren't from Long Island. You know, most of our camp was from Long Island. There was this borough connection that we had. I knew her mom because she went to the gym that I worked at, and I just felt, and there was also a depth, even when you were a little girl.
Really?
Oh my gosh, you and Jess, and I've said this to you, I always felt connected to you, and there was this depth. We would sit and talk. I don't know if you remember this.
Oh my God, tell us.
But we would have, I was 6 years older than Samantha, and I was 3 years older than Jessica. It was Jessica 2 years?
2.5.
Okay. And there was a depth at 14 years old, at 15 years old, that with these little girls. I mean, first it started off, they were like the gymnasts of the camp. And we'd be like, just do a flip for us. Just do a flip for us. But there was a depth, a real conversation, like late night. It was typically about boys, but there was just something deeper with both of you. So this is full circle moment for me. I just remember, like, for me, I always felt different. There was always a depth for me that I felt like no one understood. And there were certain people that I felt that with. So that's why when I moved out here and I knew she was here, I'm like, I need to reconnect to her. And I do believe it was that depth. And here we are.
I love you.
I love you.
Can you tell everybody just who you are, the work you do in the world?
Yeah. So I am a coach. I started being a coach for the New York City Department of Education in 2004. So 21 years later, I morphed into health coaching, then life coaching, and now executive coaching. But I will say I'm listening to everyone talk, and I feel like, I mean, I guess it goes in ebbs and flows. I am 48 years old, and I'm not making that as an excuse, but I don't know how to keep up with the times of all this. Like, I just want to talk to people. I want to meet someone. I think I heard at your last event, I walk into a restaurant and I know the waiter's entire life story since I'm 9 years old. Or, on an airplane, I'm sitting with the flight attendant and afterwards, and I just know their story. My husband will say, they'll be like, I don't know why I told you everything. She gets that all the time. But that's been from the time I'm younger. And I think it was at your last event. Just love connection, love people's stories, love their journey. And like, all I want to do is be in a room with people who are willing to connect heart to heart, and do this soul work. So watching you and watching you do this is just music to my ears. And again, I'll just keep saying, I talk about forgiveness and resentment, all that other stuff. I don't love, I'm proud of you at all. That's like a thing that I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. So I love what you're doing and the message you're getting out.
Thank you. Well, this is actually a really perfect segue, because my feeling of you has always been that you have no judgment. And when you can feel that someone's not judging you, whatever armor is around your heart, you might put it straight back up at the end of that conversation with that person, but it's going to come down. And people are going to tell you things and then go, I don't know why I just did that. I never do that. Right? And so if you think about resentment and feeling unwilling to forgive, what are we really stuck in? Judgment. So knowing that you're so good at holding space for other people, at not judging other people, tell me a time when you've been stuck in judgment of what someone else did to you.
So I will say on my journey, I'm in the work, and I thought I've done the work. And I arrived, started my own business in 2012 because I've done the work and I want to help everyone else do the work. I have this vision, and I don't know if it's a real thing that happened in cartoons when we were younger, but they would get like splashed on the floor and then they would like pick themselves up. Like, does anyone know that vision? Okay, that's where I feel like I am in my life right now. Next iteration of this healing. And I've been with my husband 21 years. And when I'm listening to even today people talk, I have never been loved so well. Like, I even recently have said to him, I'm really hard to love right now. And I'm in awe of how you're loving me. Ugh. And he's probably the person, because he'll often say to me, I feel like you're judging me, and that's the easiest, right? When you know he's going to still love you. Oh, yeah. I can do all those things that I tell everyone not to do, or I preach and say that I don't do, right there. So I think that I would say in the last 3 years, I thought we had a really good relationship. We were the couple that we met in the city, and we sat at a bar, and we went hard, deep right away. And he's so deep, and I couldn't imagine not having those conversations all the time at dinner. Like, still to this day, it's what went on today. It's just, there's a depth there for us. And he's the one that I think I judge the most. And and he calls me out on it. And I think I've learned a lot I think our relationship in the last 3 years. So my son's going to college in 2 weeks as a freshman. My daughter's going to be a senior in high school, which is wild. It's just going to be the two of us. And we started going to therapy 3 years ago because I felt like there were these old patterns that we just couldn't get out of. And he was like, I'm game. I love growing. And he says, like, he loves just me enjoying life. He's a music guy. He loves experiences. I'm like, you go out. I'll go read my book. I like just like having my own space, my own time, the quiet, especially after raising the kids for 18 years. And he says therapy is like I love Broadway. So he's like, it's like my Broadway show. I love watching you go and enjoying. So that's what therapy became for us. And I think that I learned that I really judge him there. But there was a lot of reasons why. And we had to come out of old patterns because of, we've been together now for 25 years, married 21. There's a lot of things when you meet at 25 years old and the version that I wanted or the life that I wanted evolved, and so does that answer your question?
Yeah. And I want you to get specific. Like, I want to know one thing that was a big thing that you learned that you were judging him over, that you were holding resentment toward him over.
I think feeling unacknowledged, acknowledgement for me of whatever I was feeling. So if I was calling him out on a certain behavior or a certain tone or the way he was as a father or the way he wasn't there for me, he was really good at talking the talk, but I just never, there was a point, we were on a hike somewhere here in California, so I don't know where I am in California. I've been here 6 years. And he said something to me. He's like, I just want to say I acknowledge the way that this made you feel specifically. It was one of the nights that we were out and he was drinking. We were both drinking. And I just saw like something in his eye that there was like a disconnect for me. And I didn't feel safe. And he was like, that's ridiculous. I was, like we had a glass of wine or two, it wasn't anything like we weren't doing anything wild and crazy, but there was something for me that I felt unsafe. And he's like, you're always safe with me, but I needed him to acknowledge it. And he just on that hike said, I just want you to know, I'm sorry. I hear you. And that changed our whole relationship. And I didn't understand why. And it broke down all these barriers and all these walls. And I think that I've learned in these last 3 years, that's a really important thing for me. And I didn't know that. Does that answer your question? You want more specific?
No, that was amazing. Yeah. Yeah. Does that come from somewhere? Is that historical?
I am the youngest of 4 children, and I know how to take care of myself. And I am going to make sure that I create my own path. I'm not going to follow in the 3 siblings ahead of me. That's how I created my own path was, oh, that's what you do? Okay, I'm going to do this. You all went here. I'm going to go here. And it looked and smelled really good because look at her go. And she's this strong, independent woman. And it was all a protection method. And it's all crumbling. And it continues to crumble. So
the thing that you really needed when you were young, you're now sometimes not feeling with him. And you're realizing how important that is to you. But he's also meeting you in that space.
yes.
I'm literally imagining me having this conversation with my husband and the resistance I would get. So I'm so thrilled that you guys could continue to grow and evolve like that.
I say to people, like, you have 3 things, right? Love, safety, and belonging are the 3 things that we need to survive in this world. And whenever I think of what my biggest trigger is, it's always safety. Physically, spiritually, emotionally, it's all about safety. If I think of like my biggest fears, it's how do I get safe in all those areas? And I'm learning, I just assume that was everybody, and it's not. When I ask that question, it's belonging. It's to feel loved. I thought belonging and love was like easy for me, and I'm sure if I dig deeper, that's not the case, but safety is my number one. So I need to feel safe. So the minute I feel unsafe, and it can be the simplest thing of, like the other day, I was like, I can't hear. Something's going on with my ear. He's like, you're fine. I'm like, I'm not fine. I was like, I need to be acknowledged. And I like washed my face really fast. I'm just going to go for a walk. And he knew it. I just need to, and that's a newer thing that's evolving that I didn't realize, but 100%, all of my protection systems are coming down in every which way. I always thought that's been the work I've been doing, but
layer by layer it could
Sure.
down. Yeah.
Well, I always say, like, we don't graduate from our spiritual curriculum here on earth. I think there's this feeling, like, haven't I suffered enough? When do I get my degree and start living in my destiny, happy, joyous, and free? But, I think the real question and sort of why I do the work I do is whatever's in front of me, if I see it as a spiritual test, then I'm either going to fail the test, and I don't say that with judgment, but I'm either going to slide back into an old behavior and stay in the same destiny that I've been in, or the test is going to force me to expand my spiritual vessel such that I shift to a new destiny. And for me, like, that's what all of this work is, right? So it's fine if I'm not willing to forgive somebody yet. It's okay. But I'm going to stay where I've been. And I'm going to get exactly what I've gotten. So what will it take for me to expand this container that I'm in so that I cultivate the willingness, right? And it's interesting because I'm listening to you and I'm thinking, okay, so when your husband says or does something, and how many of us can relate to this, right? With a partner, they say or do something where you don't feel seen or heard or safe or acknowledged, and you immediately get defensive, right? I mean, this happens all the time. And so in that moment, in defense, there's not a willingness. We're in like fight or flight, right? It just swords out. You're not going to do this to me. I don't feel safe. I have to protect myself from you, right? And then the hope is that we become so conscious that we go, ooh, it's happening again. I feel it in my body. I hear it in the way I'm speaking to him or her. This is not where I want to live, right? And so in your case, now that there's been that breakthrough and he was able to acknowledge you, you had a moment and then you knew, I need to go do something with this and about this. I need to reestablish a sense of safety, right?
Yeah.
And then communicate to your partner, hey, I didn't feel safe just now. I took it out on you. I got defensive. I'm sorry, right? This is how we clean things up. Like, we're not going to do this thing perfectly.
Yeah.
Right?
Can I share something?
Absolutely.
So he got upset with me randomly last week. Silly. Like, all he said was, I was just fucked up, And I was like, we're leaving like crazy. I'm telling you, I'm going through a fight. And he was like, where are you going? And I like took the key out of his out of his pocket. I got in the car and get in the car and he goes, I just want you to know I love you so much. Oh, never leaving you. Like he said, he doesn't even remember saying these things. It was like, who is this man? Can you bring it to the next? He's committed. I have to say, like, I know when there are people. So again, raising my 18-year-old son and my 17-year-old daughter, you see, like, my son definitely has my wiring. My daughter has more his wiring. I like to say that they have the best of both of us. But it's like when he sees a problem, it's like, oh, this is awesome. I love it. Like, I'm gonna put my sleeves up and we're gonna get in there. I'm like, oh, I see a problem. Is this gonna be easy for me? Because you know what? I've been gifted with a lot of things that are easy for me. Growing up, I was a social kid. I was an athlete. I could sing. I could play the piano. I just played, like little things. I didn't put my all into all these things, but things just came naturally to me. But the minute I had to fight a little bit harder, my wiring is I'm out. And so he is just that love, like he'll say, like the parent in me, he's like, I love parenting. I can't wait. Like, and he's like, I always wanted to parent. And we get in bed and we're like, that was so fun. And I'm like, that was torture. It's a wiring that I'm enamored by, that I really do believe is a gift of his. And that he consistently fine tunes because he loves the work just as much as we all love the work. So he is committed to,
Here, use this.
Okay. I would say that
always was like this self-seeker wanting to grow. And then he was like, all right, this is who I'm married to. I might as well join in. I was just saying to you, like, I plant the seeds, but he makes them grow. And he is like, I want to move to California. He's like, all right, this is great. He's like the happiest thing here. And I'm like, wait, I miss my family back. You know, like he's just, I don't know. I did not expect to talk about Brian Yudko, but here we are. So.
Okay, last thing, and then we have something really special happening to close the night out. What you just said, which was that reaction that you had. You got angry. I mean, forget about like willingness to forgive. Like, you got so angry so fast, and he just doused you with love. And by the way, that's incredible, right? I mean, we could only hope to have a partner like that. And yeah, and I do want to share, because I'm not giving in my head my husband enough credit. He's tough. I mean, we are so different, and he's not as gentle in the way you're describing your husband, at least my perception of him. However, one of the most amazing things he does to disarm me, and I want you guys to take this with you, because we'll do it to kids, but we don't do it to each other, which is when you see somebody defensive, and they're pissing you off, by the way, they're not actually being nice to you. I'm not talking about a stranger, someone you love. What if you said, do you need a hug right now? I mean, we know the science of hugging. And if you don't, you hold a hug for 20 seconds, you release all the feel-good chemicals that you get when you do drugs. We don't get enough hugs every day, right? So not only are we not getting, we're not giving them either. And they're free. It's kind of like what your husband said, right? Like he doused you with love in that moment. So were you able to course correct? Were you able to be like, I'm sorry? Like, what happened that quickly? Because you're super defensive. He disarms you. And then what? Like, you left me hanging there. Like, what happened? So finish that story. Yeah.
Well, what do you think happened?
You cried?
I was waiting by myself for 6 hours and disappeared.
Ah, yes. Okay.
And
That first.
first, it was 6 hours. It used to be 6 days. And what I realized in that moment is why I was so upset was because he was so disappointed in me. And I said to him, your disappointment, I protected myself from people being disappointed in me. So because he said that he loved me and that he's never leaving, it allowed me to access this place of what it feels like, probably for the first time when people are disappointed in me. And it's a pain that I never want to experience. And I allow myself to experience that pain, and I had to process it. And I had to still process it by myself. The goal is for me to co-regulate with him and not just self-regulate. But I came back. He went to the beach by himself. He didn't call me. Usually, like, he'll chase. He's like, oh, is this the part where I'm supposed to chase you? Like, he's so good about it, but he didn't. And I came back and I said, I realized why I was angry. Something happened before we got into that car that had nothing to do with you. I did not know how to communicate with you, or I didn't really want to go there. I didn't want to acknowledge the pain that caused me. So it was easier to come at you. And by you creating the safe space for me that I didn't even know that I needed, it allowed me to also open up that place of what it feels like when you are disappointed in me, and that it gutted me. And I have to learn that he's like, we're going to be disappointed in each other. And I'm like, and I have to learn how to be able to tolerate that.
Yeah. Give it up for Pam. Oh my God. So dead. I love you. Yes.
Waking up, I hear the desperation call. I turn my back and hit my head against the wall. Don't need a crucifix to take me to my knees. Whipping my mistakes to jump over the grief. Breaking the circuit, making it worth it. Oh, sick and tired of the voice inside my head. Never good enough, it's leaving me for dead. But perfection's just a game of make-believe. Hey, gotta break the pattern, find a new reprieve. Breaking the circuit, making it worth it. Oh, I am ready to make a change. I am big, that's my pain. There's a knowing deep inside. I gotta let this life. I can be brave and afraid at the same time. Practice self-compassion, start to calm my mind. Taking tiny steps to loving all of me. Trust the process, cause it's gonna set me free. Breaking the